spill that took place a short time ago. Many residents are complaining of the odor, and it seems to be permeating around town drastically, and we're trying to make an effort to remediate this problem as quickly as possible, and that has facilitated the need for fast action on this board's part. And we do have a representative from Chazen and also Delaware. Is Mary Beth here? Yes. Okay, yeah. So I'd like to start with Jim Pons to address the board and give us his take on the situation.
Good evening.
Can I turn the mics on?
Yeah, we do.
Good evening.
Speak up.
Good evening. This is a follow-up to our pre-board meeting last week. I know there's been a number of questions that board members have had since I did the presentation and tried to address the common questions at that time. And I understand that additional comments have come up that are leaning towards no vote on this or an abstention on the votes for tonight. First of all, I'd like to point out that all of these resolutions that are before you tonight are imperative and critical to the continuation of the construction contract. As you're all aware, people mentioned that the odor at the wastewater treatment plant has been getting worse and worse. That's been a direct result of the spill and the damages that were occurred by during the spill process, as well as the replacement of 2 clarifier drives that have been down. All those resolutions that are there are critical to the continuation of the plant. The contractor's construction schedule is, and their contracts are done as of June 28th of this year. There's a resolution before you that is associated with extending their contract so that the town is not subject to potential delay claims associated with that. Although we extended it to November 25, I think this is going to be a milestone extension because we still have additional work that still has to be funded. The way the insurance is processing the claims here, they've given verbal okay already for the resolutions for UW Mark's Gilson and Family Dan's construction contract, which totals about $567,000 or thereabouts. Those numbers totally don't kind of escaping at this point, but that work will allow the contractors to stay working at the site. They're literally getting to the point where they have no more work they can perform under the contract without doing the remediation work and the rework that we have to do. The clarifiers that are before the board for roughly $95,000 will help once that work is done, so they take a month to finish that work once they get authorized and get the parts ordered. So we're probably looking six weeks before they can even get that work done and started, which the order will continue until this work is done. So I understand that there's some reservation regarding the financial implications to the town on these because it's indeterminate at this point what the final cost of the remediation work is going to be. And unfortunately, that is not something that a month or 2 months, delay on this, decisions will provide you with the answers you need. We don't know those answers, and we would be remiss in trying to give you an idea as to what's necessary. The contractors need to get started working on what else needs to be done. They have to do some demolition work to find out the true extent of the damages and how much work has to be performed. So Mary Beth and I and Dan Rourke, Dan is the design engineer for the project with Delaware, and Mary Beth has been the project manager for them. We are all here to answer any questions that the board may have in regards to these resolutions. Again, it's imperative that these get approved so that you can authorize the contractors to move forward, order the materials, so that they can at least start the rebuilding work. With that, with that, I'll answer any questions. I know I've spoken to a couple of board members, and I believe I've answered the questions that were posed to me.
Jim? Mary Beth, I'm sorry.
Dan.
We're not going to do this tonight.
we're not gonna do this right now, we're not gonna do this tonight. I wanna meet with Mary Beth and a couple of other people of our choosing. We're looking for like a 2-week extension, but we're not gonna do this now. So, thank you anyway.
Well, I mean, is there a reason that you don't want to do it now, councilperson matters, or while we have the engineers right
Yes,
before us, it's an
Supervisor
emergency
Reiner, the
situation?
questions that we have are far too many, and I don't want to be put under this kind of pressure in this kind of a setting to make these quick decisions now. Whatever we hear, we may have more questions, and quite frankly, I don't see the urgency, Mr. Supervisor, because we've been contacted by a lot of people, but we have not heard word one from you. So,
Okay.
as the supervisor of the town, I imagine that if this was such a critical emergency that it can't wait just 2 more weeks, which is all we're asking, we probably would have heard from the supervisor, but we have not. We have not heard word one since March 13th, when this whole thing
Well, if you were
started.
taking the time to read the resolutions that were on the agenda at the pre-board, you would have recognized the fact that I did bring it to your attention, and the resolutions were
We
there.
did
And
read
now I have the engineers here, so why don't you
We did
throw
read
the
the
questions out?
resolutions.
Actually, we combed through the resolution, line
If
for
so,
line.
if there's a
And
problem with it.
there are a ton of questions.
We are not doing this now.
So you don't want to rectify an emergency situation that's just been outlined by
We
a
are
change
not
engineer.
doing this now.
Right, and why not? Because you don't recognize the emergency situation that's at hand here? You're going to allow the
There
town,
is no emergency.
you're not going to exercise your fiduciary responsibility as a town board
There is
member?
no emergency situation.
Well, would you folks care to, explain to me as to whether or not this is an emergency situation and needs to
You
be
can
taken care of?
explain it all night long, Jim.
No, you need to do
We
that
are
for me.
not doing
No, I'm
this.
asking
Well,
you.
2 weeks kill you, 2 weeks are gonna kill you. They won't even bring us to June
That's
1st.
all we're asking.
I want to hear what they do, I want to hear what they do.
Call a special meeting.
One at a time, it's hard to hear you guys when you're all talking.
Stop, I want to hear it. Tell me, is this an emergency situation? I want it for the record.
This is a situation that needs to be resolved in a meeting. Yes, it is.
Well,
Everybody's complaining about the odor of the plant. That is going to continue getting worse. So 2 more weeks will make it even
we've
worse.
been putting up with that odor for how long now? Years?
Very bad, I would like to hear from you as well. Is this an emergency situation in your estimation?
You have contractors who are under contract until June 27th, I believe it's 27th. They're under contract for work that they cannot do at this point because of the cleanup that needs to occur. We need to resolve this very soon. It can't.
Like right now, is this an emergency situation?
No, she said very soon.
I've been told by Mr. Marks, who called me today about the situation, he said he may have to pull up the job.
Yeah, because he wants to be paid, and he will be paid. Everybody will be paid, okay? It would be irresponsible for 2 council people out of a 4-person board. We are 50% of this board. We are not voting on these resolutions until we understand them, and that is our fiduciary responsibility to the town.
Right, it
And
is.
I don't care what the supervisor thinks.
It is, to take the time and understand it when it comes before you on a town board
This
meeting.
is the most I've heard from the supervisor in over 9 months.
Well, that's
I've heard nothing.
And that's why these people are here.
It is not an emergency situation, and we will get it resolved if we're going to be
Well, all I can
contacting
say to
you.
you, councilperson matters, is that you're defying the judgment of our paid engineers on this issue.
Supervisor,
They are the
I
ones that
agree.
are, they are the ones that are stating that this is an emergency situation, and that's the judgment
You
by
might
which
as
I
well,
work.
you might as well stop speaking, because when you think
I don't need
things,
to be told
nothing
to stop
changes.
speaking by you, councilperson.
Nothing to
You
say.
need to understand that you're not living up to your fiduciary responsibility to run this
We
town.
are not doing this tonight, okay? We have a lot of questions, we have them written down, I didn't even bring them with me. So what we're gonna do,
Maybe you should forward it on to the engineers.
what we're going to do is plan to meet with you in the next week or so, and we'll do it in a room, with a quiet room.
Oh, we'll close the doors, maybe, we'll close the doors, and we'll
Yeah,
people
just
we
like
don't know
you.
who they
No,
be.
sir, that's the way you do it.
Huh? Okay.
Anybody
In
in
a
this
room?
room
I don't
who
know.
wants to join
Yeah.
us for the meeting may join us. But we will get this done, I promise you.
Yeah.
Another week, 7 days, 10 days, we'll.
Special meeting.
Yes, Yes, sir.
be held.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, special
As
meetings that we
quickly
can
as we
vote on,
can.
Yes,
vote on them then.
Yeah, good answer, so we'll focus on the wastewater treatment plant
Correct.
Yes,
and the change orders that are all before you.
Yep.
Yep.
And that way we can get this resolved.
And at the end of the day,
And
we'll end up with the
my
same
biggest
resolution.
reservation is that the insurance company is
That's
giving
one
us
thing that has
verbal
to
authorization to order the parts. The contractor won't order the parts. The contractor's gonna file a delay of claim. The insurance company can refuse to pay that delay of claim because the board did not act. And that would be the town's responsibility to pay. That's my biggest concern.
Between now and then, they can file that claim?
I expect that they'll file it this week if we don't act tonight.
Right.
It'll be done by Friday is my expectation, and they'll file claims to delay.
we'll try to schedule a meeting for next week.
That'll be fine, yes, that's, because if there's nothing we can say or do,
Right.
then that's where it has to be, with understanding that there's that likelihood.
Well, we appreciate it, we appreciate your patience, we just want to make sure that we're crossing all our T's and dotting all our I's for our residents. This is a catastrophe that happened. This thing is coming close to $1 million, folks. We want to make sure that we know what we're doing. Is that unreasonable?
Well, when did you get these change orders?
I'm not answering questions from the audience.
Of course.
We are, I think we're done. I will be, we will.
And
Well, maybe
there'll
early in the week.
be a public comment period in a moment, if you're welcome to go and make that statement.
When we schedule the meeting, if you can send questions, so we can be really well prepared.
Okay.
That would be extremely.
I've got it written down also.
Yes, so we can be as prepared as we possibly can, so we can answer everything that we can.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's just a lot
And
of
questions,
things we don't know,
end up,
but.
you end up with more questions than we have
Exactly.
questions.
We will be sure there's a particularly select group of people that we want to answer our questions. Of course, anybody in this town, anybody in this room can attend and listen, and we will put it out there in that fashion. So we're not doing anything secretively. Anybody who came to the meeting would only learn more about what you're going to be paying for the next 30 years. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And I apologize for we're a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
To say the least. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, with that, Councilman Mann, do you have anything you want to add to the evening with anything else?
Yes, I do. Comptroller Phillips notified the board on May 1st that the annual update document for 2014 was completed and submitted to OSC. The report will be posted on the town's website after Mr. Phillips has been advised by OSC of any amendments to the filing. So it may actually be there now, I'm not sure. Mr. Phillips also notified the board on May 8th that the April 2015 monthly variance and payments report should be on the town website as of May 9th. The industrial strength accident at the wastewater treatment plant on March 13th was not widely publicized. In fact, to my knowledge, never made any of the local newspapers, but it certainly was a newsworthy event. Resolution 47-2015, which authorized payment for emergency remediation services at the plant, stated that aside from a $1,000 deductible, insurance proceeds will be available to pay for the aforementioned remediation services. This was a gross misrepresentation of the town's cost for this mishap. We are still waiting to find out how much of the cost will be covered by insurance and how much of it will have to be paid by the town. We do know that the total cost of this industrial strength mishap will approach or exceed $1 million, and that the contractors will require an extra 151 days to complete the project, pushing the completion date of phase 2 to November 25th.
Possibly January.
A resident-sponsored forum called The Financial Responsibilities of Elected Officials was held on Wednesday, April 29, 2015 at the East Greenbush Town Library. A videotaping of the forum, which included an informative question and answer period, can be accessed on the East Greenbush Truth blog. Regarding the Hampton Manor gazebo that was destroyed on July 30th, 2014, the town received a payment for the property loss from the insurance company in the amount of approximately $5,200, which is the amount of the recovery less the deductible. money has been earmarked by the town comptroller to replace the gazebo, hopefully this year. Personnel changes this month include the following. Effective Wednesday, April 29th, Megan Hart was appointed to the position of Deputy Supervisor. Ms. Hart also functions as the Director of Finance and HR. Effective Friday, May 1st, Councilperson Sue Mangold resigned from the Town Board due to the residency issue. Effective Wednesday, May 6th, Catherine Luria was voted in as the new Ethics Board Chair. And effective Thursday, May 7th, Ed Gilbert resigned from the Ethics Board, creating a vacancy. My appointment to the seat back in August of last year, Michelle Leclerc, has informed me that she is unable to remain on the committee. As such, I wish to replace Ms. Leclerc, effective today, with Ms. Ann Taylor. Ann is a Siena College graduate who has been in the financial industry for 26 years. She is currently the comptroller of a local software company and an owner and partner in her own small business. She's a graduate of the Rensselaer County Chamber of Commerce's leadership program and a member of the finance committee at her church. Her volunteer history includes serving on the board of the YMCA in East Greenbush, serving as a member of the Rensselaer County Chamber's membership committee, serving on the board as treasurer for the Animal Protection Foundation in Scotia, serving as an instructor for the American Institute of Banking, and serving as a board member for the Catholic Charities Caregivers Foundation. Her financial and volunteer experience makes her well qualified for the CPAC, plus she is a returning member to this committee. Welcome, Ann, and thank you very much for your willingness to return to this important work. On May 14th, in the May 14th, 2015 edition of the Advertiser, Supervisor decreed that the town's accounting software is not broken beyond repair. He said it functions for day-to-day payments and general journal entries, but is limited by structural flaws. He mentioned that there are other accounting programs with enhanced functionality. The supervisor also explained what the comptroller meant when he stated that the town hasn't yet earned the privilege to purchase new software. He went on to state that Mr. Phillips meant that before we implement and rely on new software to track and process accounts, we need a clear and concise process to track accounts to time of closure, which in fact ties back to the ever-present fact that we need clear and concise internal controls to track accounts to time of closure. In December 2014, the CFAC was tasked with writing internal controls for town operations. Although the town board is primarily responsible for the effectiveness and proper functioning of the town's internal controls, the supervisor and department heads also share the responsibility for ensuring that internal controls are adequate and functioning properly. I continue to look forward to monthly reports from the CFAC on their progress with this important assignment. If anyone would like a copy of my comments, please email me. Thank you.
Yes, I do. Huge thank you goes out to Lauren Brow of Elk Brow Paving for volunteering his time in getting our basketball courts paved at the town park. We are very grateful and appreciative of all the effort he put into this project. Also, thank you to Jessica Lansing and Commissioner Corrales for getting this project started. Our Spotlight and Youth Awards ceremony will be held on June 3rd at 4 o'clock in the community room. We also have a town-wide garage sale that will be held on Saturday, June 13th from 4 a.m. to 3 p.m. Homes participating will be advertised in the Troy Record, the Advertiser, Our Town Magazine, the town's website, Facebook, and posted at several local businesses. To participate, you need to download a form, fill it out, and it costs $5 to help defray the cost of the advertising and the printing. Also, we are adding team leadership and counselor and training to our summer camp for teens this year. And on the website, there's a schedule for field trips, the sports clinic, and special events that are being held for campers this year. The schedule for the 2015 Music in the Park is also on the website, and all the concerts will be held on Tuesday, August 4th through August 25th at Underdog Park. Hopefully we see you there. Thank you. That's it for me.
All right, I'd like to open up the public privilege portion. Each speaker may choose to state your name and address Prior to addressing the board, Mr. Graham, the floor for up to 5 minutes. The board thanks everyone in attendance for their understanding and also the desire to actively participate in the decision-making process here locally. Is there anyone that would like to speak this evening? Jack?
Jack Conway, 232 Hudson Avenue. First, I'd like to thank Sue Manvold. I know she's not here, but to thank her for 14 years of service to the town. Sue and I disagree on a lot of things, but it was always civil, it was always professional. And I live in Hampton Manor, and she's been one of the only board members who ever advocated for Hampton Manor. So I just want to put on record that thank you, Sue, and I wish her well. Congratulations to Kathleen Loria as chair of the ethics board, and I wish Ed well. And Ann Taylor's a great appointment for CPAC. To this day, she's still the only person in this town who's ever formally proposed a financial recovery plan. And that puts her right in position to be in CPAC. I want to talk about two things that happened at the pre-board meeting. One was a presentation by Paul Cummings from Chazen about revitalization of Columbia Turnpike. The study that was done by a really good committee. It's a really good study. It's got a lot of good ideas in it. And when Paul was presenting it, he reflected positively on our comprehensive plan. He said that it reflected a good vision for the town. They think it could be amended some for Columbia Turnpike, but in general, it's a good document. It's well done. It lays out what we want our community to be, and it's a good piece of work. But then the other part of the pre-board meeting was the Wood Creek Apartments, which turned into a bit of a brouhaha because they want to do residential projects in a commercial zone. The problem is, and let me say this up front, I think their residential project is a really good project. I think they're good developers. I think it's a good project. But the problem is the zoning. And it's a problem in this town that we do things like master plans, and we do things like the Western East Greenbush generic environmental impact statement, the Route 4 corridor study, this new proposed plan for Columbia Turnpike, and then nothing happens with them. And what happens with individual projects is they get micromanaged. And zoning is there to protect the people and the community. For example, when you zone an area residential buffer, it's zoned that way to preserve open space with low impact uses, which someone defined as a casino. That was absurd. And if you were willing to throw out this wonderful master plan, all these great documents, because a particular project came along, and you used, just as was used in the pre-board meeting, the idea that we need the tax revenue. We need this community intact. Good government can straighten out the finances of this town, but we need the community intact. So, for example, if we have a town planner, that's the person who would be looking at these documents, would be looking at the big picture. And I'm not saying we don't do Wood Creek, but what I'm saying is if you want to do Wood Creek, change the zone. Go through the process to amend the zone. And then you have what you need. It's a good project. You can go for it. It will generate the tax revenue. But the zoning is our protection. It's the collective will of the people of this town. It's processed through the right channels. It's the way things should be done. So rather than argue whether Wood Creek should be there because it's commercial or residential, we should be talking about that zone. Should it be commercial? Should it be residential? So if you want to do that project, I think don't do it through the back door. I mean, a casino through the back door just proved too large to fit. But this is not the way to do it. The way to do it is to look at the zoning, look at the plan, go through the process, do the public hearings, and change it. And then get back to those guys and say, we changed the zoning, come on in. So I just think that that's very important, that we look at the mechanisms that protect the community more than running after revenue, tax revenue for the town. Because there's more involved in tax revenue than what we want this community to be. So thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Hi, Andrea Smith, 4 Bud Lane. I wanted to address two very important issues which have already been raised this evening. First of all, because of my work related to government relations, I'm aware of a lot of funding that comes out that could be very valuable, especially related to our circumstances with the wastewater treatment plant. So I strongly encourage the elected officials to contact the state legislators who are going to be involved in outlining the criteria that will make municipalities eligible for the $200 million grant funding that was included in the budget and will recur for 3 years. So it's $200 million that's available, but then it will be available over the course of 3 years to municipalities that qualify, that are in need of clean drinking water, which applies directly to the condition of the Hampton Manor potable water, and clean wastewater treatment plant. And so right off the top of the $14 million cost, we could be applying to the state for grants that would lower that amount and therefore lower the taxpayer exposure. So I strongly recommend, I completely agree voluntarily to stay in contact with elected officials and find out where the process is in terms of the money being available and when it goes to bid. But prior to it going to bid, we can be contacting elected officials and identifying criteria that we think are important for eligibility, criteria that would describe East Greenbush and therefore make it more likely that when we apply, we would be able to get funding. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I also wanted to speak in favor of Paul Cummings' presentation of the master plan. I volunteered to be part of the focus group that developed the comprehensive plan. And I think the concept that this town should embrace, especially given the condition of 9 and 20, goes very strongly to his recommendation to adopt the master plan and then address the zoning laws so that they can allow for the development according to the master plan, specifically related to in-growth and using the parts of the town that may be zoned commercial but could be used for mixed use and could help lay the foundation for more growth along the population corridors as opposed to changing the zoning laws in the outlying areas. So the master plan, if understood correctly, you know, is a well thought out plan about taking small increments along 9 and 20 and starting to lay the foundation to build them out so that they can be a lot of things to a lot of different people. People who want to walk instead of driving places within town. And I strongly urge that anyone who lives in this community take a drive down Route 9 in Loudonville, past Newton Plaza, to the development that's occurring between Newton Plaza and the Hoffman's Playland, which is just a beautiful example of mixed use of property because it has a lot of restaurants and it has the parking behind the buildings, and then behind that it's development of residential land, residential properties, so that people who live in that town can walk to the places that they want to go to. So I strongly urge that serious consideration be given to endorsing the master plan. Thank you.
Hi, this is Kate. I also have a letter I emailed board members before afternoon. Excuse me, yesterday, May 19th, I went to the Bluff Middle School to vote on school budget. Upon arriving, I proceeded to look for the handicap parking. I saw no signs. Now, in fairness, I did not look at the general parking area as that was too far for me to walk. I therefore resorted to park in the fire lane that is marked for school buses during the school days of operation. Isn't that an oxymoron? That it's okay to park in the fire lane at a school when there are functions other than scheduled classes in progress? Is it okay to disregard fire lane signs when one comes across them outside of business hours? I guess fires will not occur other than during business hours, so therefore fire trucks do not need access. Isn't that the purpose of fire lanes, so the firefighters can have that? I also need to address the long distance a person has to walk to get into the block gymnasium. A person with a physical disability or elderly, in many cases, just can't walk that far to access the gymnasium and exercise their voting rights. Because between the no handicap parking and the long walk, I can't help but come to the conclusion that they would rather senior citizens with physically disabled not be voting.
Elizabeth, are you looking for some kind of intervention from the town board?
Well, just bear with me one moment, please. I had experienced a similar problem at Columbia High School during our casino informational meeting, and I did express my dissatisfaction then, but I never followed through. Excuse me. I did not anticipate being possibly disabled for an extended period of time, and I still don't. And as with most of us, I was only thinking of myself. And in my opinion, Janae was the ideal place for the school budget vote. I have been in contact with the ADA, the American with Disabilities Act, regarding this ongoing problem, and they advised me to contact the town board, the East Greenbush School Administration, and the school board, requesting that basic accommodations available to those that need assistance. And I sent a letter to the school district also. And it was very difficult for me to get in there yesterday. And I do know a lot of senior citizens that won't go vote because it's such an ordeal to get in there to vote. And it's just too taxing. It's taxing. I'm on the second what Andrea Smith spoke about. I'm not familiar with the town master plan and all that, but what she said just seems reasonable. I have been through the Latham area that she's referring to, and it is excellent. And why can't we do that? Why can't we? We are just as good as they are. I did have one more question. The duplex on Thompson Hill. Now, I did ask the board, I don't know if it was in the fall. I haven't been here since February. But I did ask the board, and the board told me it was a duplex. You still tell me that that's a duplex?
It's supposed to be, but it's different than a duplex to me.
Can I ask the building?
As of this date and time, it's a duplex. No, I'm sorry, it's a twin home they call it. You have a single-family residence on one side, and a single-family residence on another
I
side.
think you should go and inspect it.
Well,
Can I request he go and
the
inspect
problem,
it?
no, I don't think so, I don't think so, but the problem is it's purported to have 4 kitchens. So it.
As of this date and time, it's a single family on one side, a single family on the other. Whether you agree or disagree with my,
I just, no, I'm just asking if you
That's how it is.
inspected that.
that's how it is right now, at this time and date.
That's what I said. Okay, I asked an answer, thank you.
Anyone else?
Tom Grant, 23 West Drive. Just wanted to also chime in and thank Kathleen Loy and Ann Taylor for serving in their respective positions, both very good appointments, both bring a lot to the bodies that they're going to be members of. Sue Mango, I'd like to say a few things about her, if I may. Although we very seldom agreed on issues, I think one of the greatest things about Sue Mango was, and is, but was as a member of the town board, and she was always responsive to citizen concerns. And she always had a good knack about her being able to disagree with people without being disagreeable. And I think, respectfully, that that's something that this board really needs to focus on themselves. I mean, she always was
very civil to people who disagreed. She was willing to listen. And I really hope that the members of the board can try and work together on some of these very important issues. We've got a wastewater treatment plant that if you drive in certain parts of this town, the odor is absolutely unbelievable. We had possibly a health risk sewage leak that was caused. We still don't have a real strong explanation of what caused it. I hope to God that the men who went in and attempted to remediate that sewage leak are being tested to make sure that they're in good health. Because this is the type of situation that, with some of the chemicals that are out there, you don't know what situation the men could have been placed in. And I really hope that they continue to be tested, and I hope the town stands behind them through the upcoming years. Just to conclude, there's a lot of big issues here facing the town board in the next few months. I know you're at a short board, there's only 4 members, but it's vitally important that you try and work together in an open, transparent, and responsive manner. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good evening. Just a comment about the resolutions that you're not going to deal with tonight. It seems to me that the solution here is, number one, is to get your answers quickly. And instead of maybe 2 weeks, try to do it in a week. Second thing is, I think that the way to get this done is to just call a special board meeting. In 10 days, set that up. And then you got it done. I wanted to speak to Resolution 65, 2015, which is a modification of the residency requirements for Officer Jenkins. And that is from half a year to 2.5 years. And that extension of the exemption for taking up residents in East Greenbush seems to me like it's a very long extension, and it also seems to me as though it's extremely unfair to the other officers who live in East Greenbush and are complying with this requirement. So I would like to suggest to the town board that they consider amending this resolution to provide an extension of an additional 6 months for a total of 1 year. And if additional time is needed beyond that year, a new resolution be presented to the town board at that time. And absent amending this resolution, as I'm suggesting, then I would suggest that the resolution be tabled until justification can be provided for providing an exemption for 2.5 years. Regarding the wastewater treatment plant and the flood spill, I attended the pre-board meeting, and Jim had spent a lot of time explaining the cost and what was going on. I came away from it with the sense that we have 3 basic costs here. We have the cost of the spill cleanout. We have the original cost to build the plant, and now we have additional costs for damages from the spill for work that was already completed and now has to be redone. And with that in mind, I was had the following questions, some of which I think Jim addressed. Okay, what is the solid cost projection for the cleanup, and what will we probably have to pay? The insurance cap is $50,000, and having worked in the insurance industry all of my life, I'm wondering why is it that Jim said that the insurance company might pay more? He talked about something about $70,000. So I'm curious about what that deal is. What is the original total cost to build the plant? What are the projected total costs what are the projected total additional costs to build the plant now? And is it possible that maybe Shazen can come up with some sort of a table outlining that residents could take a look at on the website, showing the original build cost, and the additional cost for every contract that the town has with companies involved in this whole process. Jim also mentioned that Chazin was developing the paperwork for grants. And my question with that is that Ms. Matters mentioned that, I think the same thing that the lady back there mentioned about what was in the budget, the $200 million. My question to Jim is, was he talking about those, or was he talking about additional grants over and above the $200 million? And I was going to ask if Jim could answer some of the questions tonight. I think he had. I don't know whether he wants to answer some more or you want to have him, but I think it might be beneficial. And I guess the last question I had was, I was unclear as to whether the treatment plant, we know it smells now, but is that always going to smell? Okay. All right. That's good news. Okay. Third item is, there's resolution 55, 2015 was passed at the April 15th meeting. And that one established a policy requiring that the town board pass an official resolution accepting and closing CPV applications withdrawals by applicants. Capital View Casino in the North officially withdrew its PDD applications in a letter to the planning board, which via a planning board resolution was returned to the town board. So my question is, why isn't that procedural resolution included on tonight's agenda, and when will this resolution be presented for adoption? And last item was, I was looking for the minutes from the last meeting on the website. I couldn't find them, and the New York State Open Meeting Law requires that the minutes be available within 2 weeks after the meeting. And this is something that both the planning board and the zoning board are now complying with. So I'd like to see the town board minutes show up. Even what the zoning board and the planning board are doing is they're indicating that there's draft, and it has the watermark on the PDF document. So, okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Mr. Supervisor, member of the board, I gotta tell you, I am just beyond stupefied at Councilperson Matters stating that she has many questions about the resolutions that are on the agenda. We have all the professionals here ready to answer her questions, but she doesn't bring them with her. She wants to do it on her timetable, not anybody else's. I think she's being irresponsible, I think she's being arrogant, and I think she's being vengeful. And her little crack smile at me proves my point. The motivation behind all this, I believe, stems back to last July when we were talking, we had a pre-board meeting actually about the commercial property that she says she's not going to vote for now, which at the time she was for. We met, we chatted about it after the presentation, and everybody liked it. She got home, and her husband, who, by the way, isn't a board member.
This is unprofessional.
Complete.
It's my time.
Were you there?
You're making allegations that you can't support.
Let the man talk, please. It's America.
Told her it was in the wrong place. And she sent a note saying, Rick was on me as soon as I came through the door. So I was asked to talk to her, and I did. And I asked her, are you still supporting it? She said she was. I was there for that. We then went on to talk about how things should be handled, and it was then that I, as the, quote, Republican drone, threatened her with retaliation if she didn't vote the way she was supposed to on something she already said she was going to vote the way she was going to vote, that she supported it. I never threatened her. What I told her was that if her husband keeps getting in the way and disrupting things, I don't see how anybody could support him down the road. That's what I said. And the other thing was, we spoke for another 20 minutes after that, and not once did she look at me and say, are you threatening my husband? Are you telling me this? No, she never did any of that. All she did after that was demand my resignation, or actually demand that I be fired from my position as deputy supervisor and on the other board. And she's been going after me ever since. She has now taken it to a whole other level where she is sabotaging the town moving forward for her own political purposes. She wants to make everybody look bad so that when it comes down to it, when it comes election time, she can say, look, the sewer system's not fixed, there's no progress in the town. She's not doing what's for the best for the town, she's doing what any vengeful person would do, which is try to take everybody down with her. I guarantee you, in 2 years' time, everything I told you will come true. Next, that has to be said. Oh, no, it did. You've been operating this way for quite some time.
Not appropriate.
I really
Call
don't.
to order, Mr.
There is,
Supervisor.
I'm telling you, for the people behind me, there is not a scale that can measure how small I care about what you were saying.
This is the communist route back here.
The last thing was that Jack was intimating, on his, when he was talking that building that thing is not how, the apartment complex and the senior housing in the town. That's not how you go about it, fixing our finances, which is intimating that our finances need fixing, regardless. They don't. So, I just want to say that I think, our finances are in much better order than they were the year before, and the AEP, when it goes out, show that, and, I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? No? That's it. With that, we're going to move on to the resolution.
He's not gonna.
Town board has reviewed the minutes of the regular town board meeting held on April 15th and 10th, 31st, and 8th. I'd like to move forward on resolution. Yes. Part of engineering on the help of Regeneron Pharmaceutical, Inc., otherwise known as Regeneron, has submitted a site plan review application for a project located at 81 Florida Turnpike and identified on the tax roll as parcel number 145.00-1-4.12, and the town board wishes to assume the agency status in connection with the coordinated secret review of the project. When we vote on the resolution, I have a second, so I want to move.
I'll second it.
Can't hear you guys.
Supervisor Lyman?
Yes.
Councilor Matter? Yes. Councilor Martina?
Yes. Resolution 63, 2015, a resolution to approve the appointment of the community and recreation staff in the summer of 2015. The Community and Recreation Department has presented the town board and the town of East Greenbush with a list of individuals who seek employment in the summer program with the Department of Community and Recreational Services. And the town controller has confirmed that the proposed town board action has been planned in the 2015 budget and shall pose no adverse impact to the town's finances. May I have a second on the resolution?
Yes.
I'll second.
There's a bunch of names, I wasn't gonna read all the names, but everybody here,
I'll second.
why? Why?
I have to abstain because one of the people on here is Nicole Kirby, is the daughter of my husband's supervisor.
Does that provide
Yes, and I
conflict?
abstain.
Does that actually provide a conflict of interest? The daughter, no, there's not a relationship there to you. And we all know people.
Jack,
Yes,
it's not.
it's not a conflict under the code of ethics.
Okay, all right, then let's proceed.
Okay, so may I have a second on this resolution? Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Councilor Martino?
Yes.
Supervisor Langley? Councilor Canary? Yes.
Resolution 64, 2015, a resolution to approve the appointment of Stephanie Phillips as part-time recreation assistant to the Community and Recreation Service Department. The position of recreation assistant part-time in the Department of Community and Recreation has been resigned by Karen T. Stewart effective April 14, 2015, and the town board recognizes the importance of this key position to the Department of Community and Recreation. As Stephanie Phillips has been determined eligible by the Rensselaer County Civil Service Commission, and the town controller hereby confirmed that this resolution results in no adverse financial impact to the town inasmuch as funding for the said position was provided in the 2015 annual budget. Now therefore be it resolved that Stephanie Phillips be and hereby appointed to the position of part-time recreation assistant at the rate of $15 per hour and consistent with all the terms and conditions of this position as previously set forth by the town board. Also be it resolved that the Director of Finance will take all necessary steps to process the personal transaction authorization by this resolution. I have a second on resolution.
I'll second this.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Councilor Martino?
Yes.
Councilor Canary? Yes. Supervisor Langley?
Yes.
Resolution 65, 2015, pursuant to resolution number 49-2015, duly adopted at its regular meeting held on April 15, 2015. The East Greenbush Town Board appointed effective May 11, 2015, Christina M. Jenkins to the position of police officer, and such appointment was made upon certain conditions, including but not limited to the appointee establishing and maintaining a principal place of residence within the town of East Greenbush within 6 months from the effective date of such appointment. And the appointee recently requested that the board grant her an additional 2 years beyond her 6-month probationary period in which to establish and maintain her principal place of residence within the town of East Greenbush in order to make arrangements relative to her current principal place of residence. And Chief Christopher P. Lavin has indicated that securing such appointment is in the town's best interest and has therefore recommended that the request be granted. And the town comptroller has confirmed that none of the provisions of this resolution will pose an adverse impact on the town's finances. Effective immediately, the request be and the same hereby is granted and approved. I'd like to move the foregoing resolution. May I have a second?
Oh, I have to. I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Yes, I think this resolution has to be amended. And what it needs to say resolve, resolve that pending further approval from the East Greenbush Police Officers Union, Local 1951, of security and law enforcement employees, Council 82, the town board does hereby approve the extension of the residency requirement to 24 months. And that is not in here, but it was advised by our Labor Council, Jake Irvin, that we amend tonight's resolution to reflect this.
This is the addition to
Did you
what's already
hear?
on here?
Yes. It doesn't say, the resolved that's on here now just says that effective immediately the request be and the same hereby is granted and approved. But we want to amend it to say what our Labor Council recommended that we say. So I'm making a motion to amend the resolution to read this resolve. You want to see it again?
Second.
Okay, so,
If you're making a motion, I'll second.
okay, you second it, and then,
Councilperson Matters,
yes.
Councilperson Langley,
Yes.
Councilperson DiMartino, that's the to amend the resolution.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, is there any discussion before I call roll on the amended resolution? Okay, Councilperson Matters,
Yes.
Supervisor Langley,
Yes.
Councilperson DiMartino.
Yes.
Vote is in there.
It is just-
Set. 2015. Approving Family Medical Leave Act. An application for full-time paid leave under the Family Medical Leave Act has been submitted by a town employee, and the town comptroller has determined that said leave will cause additional overtime burden, and for which there presently is adequate provision within the current town budget. The effective date of said leave application is May 4th, 2015, with an end date to be determined by medical necessity. For a total of 12 work weeks of leave, said application for leave under the Family Medical Leave Act is approved effective May 4th, 2015, subject to the terms and conditions as set forth above or otherwise as prescribed by law. I'd like to move the foregoing resolution. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion on this resolution? Supervisor Langley?
Yes.
Councilperson DiMartino?
Yes.
Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
Whatever.
You want me to read it? Okay. 67-2015, a resolution authorizing the acceptance and execution of a stipulation of discontinuance in the matter of 337 Columbia Turnpike LLC versus Town of East Greenbush et al., index number 244116, the premises located at 360 Columbia Turnpike, tax ID number 166.-1-8. The town's tax consultant and assessor have negotiated a settlement whereby the petitioner will discontinue with prejudice all claims proceedings without any refund or roll adjustment whatsoever. And the 2015 assessment for the subject premises has been set by the assessor at $203,000 for 1 year only, during which the petitioner shall complete land stability and construction readiness requirements by March 1st, 2016, the next taxable status date. And the stipulation provides that in any event there shall be a de novo assessment for the 2016 roll without regard to any prior year's assessment. And for anybody who wonders, de novo means fresh. I had to ask. The Town Tax Certiorari Council is hereby authorized to execute the stipulation of discontinuance under the terms and conditions cited herein. I'd like to move the foregoing resolution. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Yeah, I'm noticing on the resolution as it stands, that there's no comptroller certification in it. Oh, I'm looking at this. Oh, thank you.
Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
Who seconded it?
I seconded it.
Councilperson Dewan?
Yes.
And Supervisor Lyman?
Yes.
I can read this one.
Okay, thanks.
68, 2015, a resolution authorizing the settlement in the matter of Spray Operation Resources LLC versus Town of East Greenbush and others, index number 240376, 2012, 244032, 2013, and 247255, 2014. The above referenced tax certiorari proceedings are pending for these 3 years, recited above in Rensselaer County Supreme Court for property known as 299 Rensselaer Avenue, tax number ID 154.2-18, and certiorari proceedings for the same property were settled with the prior owner, Trans Montanege, for the years 2008 through 2011 at $4,250 town appraised value. And the prior settlement did not include the RPTL, section number 727, 3-year freeze due to the change of ownership, but nevertheless, the assessment remained at the $4,250,000 assessed value for 2013 and 2014 tax rolls due to an administrative error. And the only year for which a refund will be made under this settlement is the 2012 roll, tax paid in January 2013, resulting in a refund from the town of $4,967 to settle all 3 years pending. And the town controller has hereby confirmed that there will be a financial impact of $4,967 on the town's finances. Now therefore be it resolved that the town certiorari council is hereby authorized to settle the 3 pending tax certiorari cases of the town's appraised value, $4,250,000, with the 1 year of refund for the 2012 roll. The cost of the town of this settlement being $4,967. May I have a second on this resolution?
Second.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Councilperson Dewan?
Yes.
Supervisor Lyman?
Yes.
And Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm second.
Oh, I'll second.
I'll give you a second. 69, 2015, a resolution approving the refund of a transfer station permit. Insel Tech purchased a commercial permit for the East Greenbush transfer station on February 6, 2015 for the purpose of dumping commercial waste. In the process, Insel Tech used to remove the insulation and dump at the transfer station is not conducive. The company has decided to get a permit with Waste Management instead. The town board approved the town clerk to reimburse the prorated amount of $380 to Insel Tech, and the town controller confirmed that this action does not impact the 2015 budget. I'd like to move the foregoing resolution as second.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Supervisor Lyman?
Yes.
Councilperson Dewan?
Yes.
And Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
We got here.
Adjourn.
Well, this one here is a duplicated one, so I'm not sure.
Oh, it is. We have the other red now.
What do we want to do with this, Dave?
I don't know, generally speaking, I think the idea is looking for a general thing to support, that's all. And they don't even require that to be out of the portfolio, but they like to have that in their portfolio or in their package. So, either both these resolutions generally approve, the Kenzie Senior Apartments project. The last one, the one at 85, also puts in that, they're asking for an additional letter, and they specifically say you can send the letter. The last one specifically says send a letter, and I guess that's the whole point, so maybe that's a little more.
So what do we want to do with this one?
Actually, I spoke to Bob Pesnella at the IDA, Dave, and he said that resolution number 70 is something that they just can't use at all. It doesn't mean anything to them. The resolution at the end was crafted in such a way that it comports with what the IDA said they need in order to move this project forward. So I don't know what to do with this one because Councilperson Malone is here, so. What do
So you could just read the tagline and then no one's gonna move it and then
Yeah.
just move on.
Okay, 70-2015, resolution supporting the IDA Fund Kensley Senior Apartments Development Project, previously tabled, resolution 57-2015.
So no roll or anything there?
Well, nobody wants to move it, so.
Okay.
Is guys here?
Just that.
Resolution 71-2015, a resolution authorizing the purchase of an industrial grade MG 7-12 drag-a-box asphalt material spreader for the Highway Department of Public Works. The town recently purchased a new dump truck with the intent to use it for paving during the construction season and is in need of a drag box paver to assist in the paving. An industrial grade MG 712 drag-a-box asphalt material spreader is eligible for reimbursement under the CHIPS guidelines if purchased at the same time as the dump truck, even though they are not available for purchase from the same vendor. And the drag-a-box is to be purchased through J. Pyatt and Associates Incorporated for the amount of $17,325.25, which is reimbursable through CHIPS, and the controller has deemed that there is no financial impact pending reimbursement. Now therefore be it resolved, the Highway Department of Public Works is authorized to purchase a drag-a-box for the 2015 paving season. May I have a second on the foregoing resolution?
I'll second it, Deb.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Councilperson DiMartino?
Yes.
Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
And Supervisor Langley?
Yes.
Resolution 72-2015, authorizing the Department of Public Works to employ Bruce Adams Roofing to replace roof on salt shed. The town of East Greenbush has identified the needs and solicited quotes to replace the existing roof on the salt shed. Bruce Adams Roofing has met all required specifications and submitted the lowest bid for the project. Bid total $12,685. The town controller hereby confirms that none of the provisions of this foregoing resolution shall pose an adverse impact to the town's finances, as this project has been budgeted to take place in the 2015. Now therefore be it resolved, that the town board does hereby authorize the hiring of Bruce Adams Roofing to fulfill requirements to complete said project. May I have a second on the foregoing
I'll second
resolution?
it, Deb.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Councilperson DiMartino?
Yes.
Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
Supervisor Langley?
Yes.
Resolution 73-2015, resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign an agreement for replacing lighting fixtures in the town's highway garage. The Department of Public Works requested proposals for the replacement of certain light fixtures in the highway garage building to provide more energy efficient lighting. And the Department of Public Works has received two different proposals, one from Hope Energy and one from Rise. And the Commissioner has determined that the Hope Energy proposal is the best proposal and will save energy costs to the town in future years. And the Controller has confirmed that none of the provisions of the foregoing resolution shall pose an adverse impact to the town's finances, since there is adequate provision in the 2015 budget for the purchase. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute and approve the proposal of Hope Energy for lighting fixture replacements in the highway garage building. May I have a second on the foregoing resolution?
I'll second it, Deb.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Councilperson DiMartino?
Yes.
Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
Supervisor Langley?
Yes. 74-2015, authorizing for fuel tank replacement. In 2015, the town board budgeted in the highway account $5,132.40 to replace the fuel tanks at the highway garage and the underground fuel tanks at the highway garage are in need of replacement because of a leak in one of the tanks in interstitial space. And the town is replacing the fuel tanks with above ground split 4,000-gallon fuel tanks. And there were two responsible quotes, with the other being approximately $75,000 even after all the construction protection on the job were discussed in their price, and the lowest responsible bid contractor agreed to do the work. And the town's Department of Public Works employees in a joint effort to perform such tasks to have a total cost of $40,866.87, and the town controller has confirmed that none of the provisions of the foregoing resolution shall pose an adverse impact to the town's finances, since there is adequate provisions in the 2015 budget for the purchase, and the Highway Department of Public Works Commission has authorized the purchase for replacement of the old fuel tanks with the above-ground split for 1,000-gallon fuel tank and all the associated electrical components involved at the cost of $40,866.87 from R.N. Dalrymple Company, Inc., and I will move for the resolution as second.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Supervisor Langley?
Yes.
Councilor DeMartino?
Yes.
Councilor Small? Councilor Maddox?
Yes.
Here we are with all these wastewater treatment plants. Dave, do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, I think some of the resolutions are yours, some of the first three, 75, 76, and 77 are yours. And it's clear, I think, from Mary Ann and Deb that you're not going to get a second. So maybe the way to go on those is to withdraw them.
Can we table them, Dave?
Yeah, you can, if everybody's on board with
I'd like
it.
to-
Table or withdraw?
Okay. Oh, well, what we're gonna do is have a meeting before the next meeting, so. Can we
We
table
have
them
that-
for the special meeting, or can we table it for the special meeting, or would we have to withdraw them for the special meeting?
No, I don't think it would make any difference. I mean, we just quite probably be putting, I mean, providing everything goes, you know, the questions are satisfactorily answered. These things are just going to be renumbered and put on a new. I think the cleanest thing is just to withdraw them, and then they're going to be renumbered and put in, and maybe they can change. I mean, we can't withdraw Phil's because he's the one there, but he's not going to do it. So that seems to me to be the smoothest way to go. Is just have people withdraw the ones that are his, which is 75, 76, and 77.
I'd like to make a motion to withdraw 75, 2015, a resolution authorizing the contract amendment of the wastewater treatment plant project contract number 10 construction change order.
I'll second that.
Well, it's just a withdrawal. So he's doing it. He's just withdrawing.
Oh, okay, got it, got it.
And also 76, 2015. And 77, 2015. So we have to read
78 is 78, 2015 is Councilperson Maloney, so you just read the title. No one will move it.
78, 2015, a resolution authorizing contract with Precision Engineering and Professional Engineering Services to provide engineering service on support for damage associated with the sludge spill. Sounds right. 79, 2015. Like to withdraw that one as well. The 2015 resolution approving social hold KV work at the wastewater treatment plant due to sludge spill and authorizing supervisor to execute documents necessary for the work and include and review the payment and said work. In 2015, a resolution approving grant against proposed fleet rework of the wastewater treatment plant due to sludge spill and authorizing supervisor to execute documents necessary for the work and approve the payment of said work, and withdraw that one as well.
Yeah, that's shown together.
Oh, I should read that.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
A1, yeah.
And what's this language in the law?
Oh my God, I have me.
I have language in the law.
I was just talking about it.
I have you.
Oh,
Yes, yesterday.
no?
Oh, I didn't do it.
All right, all right. Table.
I can do the next one then.
be known to, 82/2015, a resolution approval of Angel Construction LTD payment for the work completed as a result of the site sale at a wastewater treatment plant. Eighty-three, it's already out of draw.
The last one, 84/2015, a resolution to approve the addition of new resolutions. Resolution 13/2015, resolution for timely submission of resolutions over any items on board meeting agendas that were not presented at pre-board be required majority vote to be considered for a vote. And additional resolutions have been presented to the board for consideration at this month's town board meeting. And following resolution 85/2015, permanent town support for the Kenzie Adult Housing Project was added to the agenda following the pre-board meeting, and that the addition of the above resolution requires majority town board vote, and that following the majority vote, the town board will vote on the stated resolution. Foregoing resolution, I'd like to move the foregoing resolution. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Deb.
During discussion of this one?
This is where we're just allowing them to read 85.
Oh, okay. Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
Councilperson DiMartino?
Yes.
And Supervisor Leonard?
Yes.
85/2015, affirming town support for the Kenzie Adult Housing Project. Whereas the East Greenbush Town Board unanimously adopted resolution number 76/2010, whereby it approved the site plan submitted by Rensco Development Corp. for the proposed development of the Kenzie Adult Housing Project to be located at 44 Elliott Road in the town of East Greenbush. And pursuant to section 485B of the New York Real Property Tax Law, the Rensselaer County Development Corporation made application to the Rensselaer County Industrial Development Agency for the approval of a payment in lieu of taxes agreement. And the Rensselaer County IDA, as a condition of its approval of the pilot, previously requested that the town transmit a letter to the IDA indicating the town's support for the project. And whereas such a letter of support dated July 17, 2012, a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part thereof was so transmitted to the Rensselaer County IDA. And whereas inasmuch as the Rensselaer County IDA is still considering the RDC's pilot application, and given the time that has lapsed since the date of the Rensselaer County IDA's receipt of the initial letter of support, the Rensselaer County IDA has requested that the town transmit an additional letter affirming its support for the project. Whereas notwithstanding such time lapse, the town continues to support the project. Whereas the comptroller has heretofore confirmed that the provisions of this resolution shall pose a positive impact to town property owners' tax rates by encouraging development of the project site, thereby increasing property value, albeit by an abated amount. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the supervisor and/or councilperson matters shall no later than close of business May 22nd, 2015, transmit via certified mail over his or her respective signature from the town to the Rensselaer County IDA to the attention of Robert Passanella, its executive director, an affirming letter of support for the project that recites the verbatim substance contained in the initial letter of support. I'd like to move the foregoing resolution. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Councilperson Matters?
Yes.
Councilperson DiMartino?
Yes.
And Supervisor Leonard?
Yes. Motion to adjourn, have a second.
Second.
Supervisor Leonard?